Ray Horner Morning Show here on 1590 WAKR.
I think he's been very mature about it. We're trying to be mature about it. That's probably the harder thing. But we'll, like I said, the medical guys are sitting down with him this morning trying to map out. We're not going to slow him down on purpose. I mean, just for the sake. But we do want him to be able to play the season without dragging that leg around. And if that means 3 days to a week extra, as hard as that is, if it's the right thing to do, it's the right thing to do. I mean, we say it all the time. You can't just do the right thing when it's convenient.
That's Terry Francona in Goodyear yesterday talking about certainly our best player, Francisco Lindor, yet really to get into any game activity. So, Tony, the baseball season starts next week. Next Thursday, March 28th in Minnesota, which I have no idea why we're opening in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But we're in Minnesota taking on the Twins next Thursday afternoon, and Lindor won't be there, which means no spring training basically for him. Tells me he's probably 2 to 3 weeks away. Not sure the shortstop is going to be. Ryan Flaherty was released, so he's gone.
Yeah. And Stamets got sent down.
So I'm just not sure. It'll probably be Max Moroff at shortstop is what I'm thinking, who's played a lot of shortstop, second and third. We got him from the Pirates. But offensively, to me, is even a bigger worry because you take him out of the lineup, Cargo's not ready to go.
Yeah.
Hanley Ramirez came in late. Jose Ramirez, okay, you got him. Santana's off blistering hot. But we're going to need to score runs.
Yeah, you're the AL Central Division. You're reigning 3-time winners here. You got to come out strong, and especially when you have Minnesota. That's they really reloaded in this offseason.
They've got some offense.
They've got offense now, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Indians can do getting off to a hot start. Now, do I think they have the capabilities? They sure have the starting pitching. They have a lot of different options that they can go with, but I mean, it is a big question mark, this team going into this into the regular season right now. I mean, spring training, and I'll ask you this, Ray, because even though you were there a month ago, you didn't really see too much action. But what do you think of spring training so far, the Indians right now, or is this you're just kind of waiting for the regular season?
Here's what I've gathered in being out there and keeping a close eye and listening to Hammy and Rosie. I think the bullpen is taking shape. I'm not too concerned right now about the bullpen. I think they brought in a lot of arms and they have a lot of options. I think they're going to be okay in the bullpen, especially the back end. Mm-hmm. And of course, we know health concerned, but I think we're going to be great with the starting pitching. I'm really not that concerned about the overall pitching staff. I'm not. Defensively, I'm okay with. I really worry about our offense is what I'm worried about because Carlos Santana, he is what he is. He's 250 to 260, 23 home runs, 70 RBIs with a great on base.
And he'll walk 5,000 times a year.
He's got a great. I see he led off, by the way, yesterday.
Oh, we're not doing this again.
Jason Kipnis at second. Big question mark.
Yes.
Lindor at shortstop. When he gets in there.
Question mark right now. But
question mark. Ramirez, really slow second half. Little bit of a question mark to me. Roberto Perez is now your everyday catcher who hit under 200 last year. Mm-hmm. Question mark. Tyler Naquin hasn't been healthy in 2 years. He looked great out there in spring training, but I would label that question mark.
Yes.
Leonis Martin looks terrific in center. Hasn't been an everyday center fielder in a couple of years. Question mark. Left field, Cargo will come in. I love that signing. Still a question mark. Offensively, I don't know if we can take to the lineup without a question mark. Now, I hope all these question marks are checked and we get positive things, but you can see where I'm going here. There's a lot of questions about our offense. I think pitching staff will be okay. Defense, I think, will be more than okay. It's that offense that I'm just a little worried about.
Yeah, the Indians are going to basically have to hope that their starting pitching is going to keep them in ball games, in the bullpen as well.
I think
most
you're
of the
starting
starting
4-2, 5-3 games.
Maybe even less, like 2-0, 2-1, 3-2, those type of games. And that's not really good looking forward because this is a team that kind of got it. Because what happens is the Indians have good pitching staff, but your offense is what helped guide them. You go back a couple of years ago in 2016, you had guys like Napoli and others who were really stepping up, and then you had Jay Bruce you added the next year. Who's going to fill those holes? And I don't see them right now. I mean, that's where a lot of people were really frustrated with the Indians in the offseason, is that they didn't fill the holes properly, or at least the way I think a lot of people expected them to based on where they were. Like, if the Indians were a team that hasn't competed before and is not a Central Division winner, you go, okay, well, the offseason, they did a little bit. They picked up Gonzalez. That's not too bad. But when you have expectations on you, this is where you kind of look around. And one thing I have to say, the Indians actually do better when they don't have expectations.
I agree.
But the problem is they have expectations.
The one thing we do have is I think we have the best manager in baseball. I think he'll get the most out of this talent. And I think the Indians do not want rebuild mode, and I think that's why Corey Kluber was not traded to San Diego, because they're looking at shipping prospects. The Indians want, if they're going to trade a Corey Kluber or a Trevor Bauer, they want a guy that's going to help them move farther into the playoffs.
Yes.
They don't want a young guy with question marks. I mean, if you're going to trade Kluber and you trade him to the Dodgers, you're going to want, what's his name, Bellinger. I mean, you're going to want a proven major leaguer that's going to help you move farther in the playoffs, not rebuild mode. And
But that doesn't happen too often, no.
No, I know.
Anymore. I mean, you basically, when you have these, you go back about 5 years when Kansas City and Tampa Bay had that deal. They sent, Kansas City sent this rising star prospect in Will Myers and sent him to Tampa. Tampa sent James Shields and sent, I believe it was Wade Davis who was there, and sent them, and people were like, why would you trade just a stud prospect like that? Well, what happened is Myers becomes Rookie of the Year down there, and Wade Davis and Shields win him a World Series in 2015, so it kind of worked out for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you see, is that you're going to trade prospects for proven major leaguers. You don't see this anymore in baseball, where you're trading major league talent for major league talent. It's usually, here's former All-Star or current All-Star or Cy Young Award winner or MVP for a gaggle of prospects.
Yeah.
That's what baseball is right now.
Because you want control. You
Yeah.
want control of these guys. So, again, next Thursday we open up. It's a 4:10 in the afternoon game against the Twins. And then the following Monday, April 1st, is the home opener against the White Sox. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and that will be a 4:10. And by the way, Jason, Sam, Brad will all be live at Progressive Field for that contest. Speaking of the Indians, it's another day of Indians Insanity.
Indians Insanity. It's time for Indians Insanity. Today's matchup features the number 7 seed, Larry Doby, against the number 19.